Hey there, Willowbrook. My name is Bobby Ann, and today we are in Exodus chapter 32. Now, Exodus chapter 32 is one of the reasons I love the Old Testament, because what we find is the nitty-gritty, raw parts of Israel's story. Parts where God's anger burned against Israel. Parts where Israel has forgotten all that God has done for them. And there is dialogue between Moses and God and Moses and the people. And we find answers and arguments that make you go, what? What about that makes sense? But I find so much comfort in chapters like chapter 32 because I see such application. I see such relatability between this chosen nation of Israel that God loved, that He made promises to and He kept His promises, and myself. Myself, the people around me, the people that I do life with, and I find a lot of comfort in knowing that the God of the Old Testament, the God that delivered the people of Israel, that stuck with them through all kinds of craziness, if we're honest, is the same God today. And so when we look around and we see crazy things around us, when we ourselves make mistakes that in hindsight don't make any sense at all apart from our sinful nature, that God is a faithful God who keeps His promises. As we get into chapter 32, Moses is up on a mountain talking to God, getting the 10 commandments from God. In fact, I love that it talks about that it is with God's very finger that He has engraved these commandments onto slabs. And while He's up there, the Israelites have quickly forgotten their God. They've been in Egypt for some 400 years. They're used to gods that you can see and you can feel. And so they ask Aaron. Aaron, apparently our leader, we don't know what happened to him. It must be significant that God has abandoned us. Would you make us a God we can see and we can feel? And Aaron, having seen God at work, gives in to what the people want and fashions a golden calf. He tries to excuse his behavior by saying, this is Yahweh, this is the God that delivered you. But the true God, the sovereign, right, not to be ignored God, isn't standing for it. He tells Moses what's going on at the bottom of the mountain. And God allows Moses to intercede on the behalf of the Israelites and all their sin and all their forgetfulness of what God's done. And God shows His mercy to the people, but at the same time, He shows them His requirement for holiness, setting us up even thousands of years before Jesus would hang on the cross. God is showing us His requirement for making sin right. This is a chapter that's got some things that might make you go, what does all that mean? I love it because of the dialogue in it, but I also love it because it really sets us up for acknowledging mankind's need for a Savior. God was He had a plan that Jesus would come and make atonement for the people of Israel, but God had a plan to make atonement for you and for me. He took care of our sin. He took care of our need for holiness. Would you take some time today to remember what God's done? The Israelites had forgotten, and they wanted something tangible to see and hold. And God, in His graciousness, has put a faith piece there for us to remember. Would you take some time to remember today what God's done for you through Jesus, through times in your life where you've been able to see God be faithful, and then have a happy Wednesday.